Welcome to another Kyle High Club episode. Um, as usual, I've got a very special guest with me. Today I've got my friend Ivan Kruger, aka Ivan Kruger. Welcome, Ivan.
Hello, what's up, Kyle?
Thank you for coming on my show today. It's an honor to have you here.
Thanks, man. I like this seat. It's a very nice seat.
In the comfort of your own home.
Yes, it's beautiful.
What seat are you sitting on right now?
The master seat. I don't know. Oh,
So, Ivan, so you are a teacher, a poet, a musician. Would you mind telling the world who you are and what it is that you do and what you keep yourself busy with?
well, man. I like to see myself as a Renaissance man. Like you said, I'm a teacher. I'm a poet. I'm a musician. Sometimes I'm a comedian, but mostly to myself. Not everybody thinks that I'm a very funny guy, but I think I'm very funny. Um, And as for being a teacher, I also teach myself a lot. I try to do everything that I can to make life bearable for myself and for people around me.
So, when you say you teach yourself, what is it that you find yourself? I mean, if you have to give me a lowdown, what do you feel like you need to know in order for you to teach yourself? You must know something first before you teach, or are you view yourself as like a student of life?
Yeah, I view myself as a student of life. I do believe that I'm a lifelong learner. I feel personally that you won't ever know everything.
No.
Like some people think they know everything, but there's no fucking way that you can know everything.
What made
Um,
you what made you decide to become a teacher, in the first place? Well, why did you want to be someone who relays knowledge onto the youth?
well, if you ask it like that way, man, there's an old saying that goes, "Those who can do teach, and those who can teach teach Jim." And I never thought of myself as a teacher. I hated teachers, but it was thrust upon me, and I do believe in destiny and stuff like that. So I feel that it was thrust upon me to make a difference in the lives of people that I don't know or don't know yet. And as life goes on, I've learned that it was just a way for me. But like I said, I'm a lifelong learner, and I've actually recently started to teach myself a very good thing called Stoicism. Don't know if you've heard of it.
Oh yeah, tell me more.
Well, I see myself as a Christian Stoic. I'm quite new to the Stoicism thing. I'm reading a book now by Ryan Holiday called Ego is the Enemy.
And
Yeah.
some the thing about stoicism and stoics and ego and perception. Would you Do you believe everyone needs to suffer a ego death in their lives?
Not everyone. Mostly people who have an ego problem, who has an ego problem. Um, I don't want to be, how can I say, I don't want to sound like I have an ego, but it's usually people who are more cerebrally inclined that have an ego problem. It's more intelligent people who have an ego problem sometimes, but it's like the Baader-Meinhof effect, or the the Kruger-Dunning effect. People who think they know don't know, and people
Yeah.
who know they know nothing. So, from my perspective, I feel that I'm a very intelligent person, but the problem comes in because I know I'm intelligent. That means that I've got an ego, and I have to learn how to control this ego because it's fucking evil.
Well, why would you say is the value of intelligence? What makes an individual an intelligent human being? Like, what do you measure intelligence by?
Well, that's a fucking difficult question, dude.
Well, for yourself, what do you feel you measure? Because you believe yourself to be an intelligent person. So, what do you measure intelligence by?
I feel that if you can do more than one thing and you can do it very well, then you must be intelligent. Oh.
It's quite interesting that you fallen. I mean, that you are interested by Stoicism as a teacher. I mean, one of the great Stoics, Marcus Aurelius. I mean, he said, adapt yourself to the life you have been given, like you believe in destiny. And in the same breath, he said, you truly love the people on whom destiny has surrounded you. So you've and you put yourself in a pocket of being a teacher, and you've surrounded yourself with the youth gaining knowledge. And do you feel fulfilled by doing so? And do you learn from them in return?
Yes, as a teacher, I I put my pedagogical skills in action, and one of the best pedagogical skills that I have is listening because I don't always listen at home. Um, my girlfriend would attend to that, but at my work, I try to listen a lot because in the type of environment I work at, the kids are not normal kids. I work in a very hostile environment, gangs and drugs and murder and pregnancy and whatever. It's like Coach Carter, the movie. It's like that, but only 10 times worse because it's real life. Um, so I tend I tend to try and listen what they say because one time actually Elena said I have a lot of stress, and I said, "What are you stressing about? You're a kid." And she said, "Just because I'm a kid doesn't mean I don't have stress." And
Well, that's
some of these kids, they're like the parents of the house. So I try to listen because then I can learn something about life in itself.
it's so interesting because we spoke about ego, stoicism, and being a student. And I think being a student is having the ability to listen. And from a teacher's perspective, I think there's a lot of value in listening, because for you to get the knowledge across, or the point across, or your beliefs across, or what you're trying to teach across, you must be able to listen to your students, to what they need in order to overcome their battles, or and the battles in the classroom, because you're not just dealing with one student, dealing with many students. And like you said, all of these students are in an extremely rural area, so that makes it like extreme teaching at the same time. And it's actually beautiful that you are willing to listen and find what they're going through, and be part of a community like this. And do you feel like you're making a change in the world by getting through to them, to your students, to the youth? Do you believe that the youth is the next generation of the future? And how do you feel about teaching to the youth and relaying this knowledge, especially in the environment that you're in?
Well, man, I truly believe that if you change one person's life, you change a million lives. Because if I change one person's life, that person will change five people's lives, and those five people will change five people. Those five people will change five people. It's a ripple effect. The butterfly effect is alive and happening. Um, for example, if Nelson Mandela's teacher hit him instead of telling him that he can change the world, it would have been a different South Africa, or any other person. Um, if someone didn't believe in Neil Armstrong, he would be like, "Fuck, okay, I'm not going to." You know what I mean?
Is this why you have embraced multiple mediums of expression with poetry, music, and teaching, with the thought of being able to change the people's lives around you?
Yeah, well, mostly I started with music, and I wrote poems because I couldn't play guitar, and then I started playing guitar, so I had the poems and the guitar, and then I converted that into becoming a singer-songwriter, and then I went to study my BA in education, and now after that I'm doing my master's now in town planning, which is like a geo field, and all these things are different types of talents that I'm living out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So now, for example, also I'm the rugby coordinator, if you would say such, of the school. I'm not the coach. I'm not the coach. I organize the matches, and I organize the jerseys, and I get the balls, stuff like
And
that.
as a musician, you really know how to do that, from organizing events and merch and all of those things,
It's the same thing, dude. It's the same thing. So, like, to organize a gig, it's the same thing to organize a match. And
It's a,
then to get the
it's,
merch, it's the same thing as the jerseys for the team. You see what I mean?
yeah,
And
it's
to organize the balls is the same thing as getting some DI boxes or whatever.
yeah, exactly.
Same thing.
How do you, I mean, seeing that you are involved with a lot of other people in your day to day and you influence them, what emotional battles do you need to fight every single day? Because you need to be tip top shape 24/7 in front of these children, and you're able to give them the quality of service that they require. I mean, how do you mentally prep yourself when you're having a bad day, or when you're just not feeling at it, and you still need to go out there and change these lives? I mean, how do you juggle your personal life with your work life in instances like this?
Well, man, I live about 20 kilometers from the school. I live in a nice area, which is called Somerset West. Um, it's a very nice area. The how can I say, the registration plates are CFM, which a lot of people say is called City for Millionaires, because it's
or
over
uh
70 in or what?
or CFM, like as in the radio station for the ocean.
Cape FM.
Yeah.
No, it says CFM, and a lot of people say that's City for Millionaires because over 70% of people who live here are millionaires, and they're from all over the world. They're from Portugal, Spain, fucking France, whatever. And then I go to work, which is in Eersterivier on the Cape Flats, and I actually did a study on the area, and 70% of people only get 3,000 Rand a month, which is like
Oh wow.
less than $200 what a month. I don't know what's the exchange rate. I don't know.
So does this humble you?
No, it makes me feel like we're living in a spatial polarization, which is still a problem in South Africa. Um, it's a very nice area, then it's a shit area, then it's a nice area, then it's a shit area. It's spatial polarization.
And you're very patriotic about South Africa. This is one thing I know about you. I mean, you're very patriotic about your country. What would you think is the biggest thing you're proud of our country? You know, what are you proud of South Africa with everything that is happening over here? What makes you say I'm proud to be a South African?
Well, the thing is, man, I'm very proud of South Africa because we have come a long way. Even though people are negative, there are still a lot of people in South Africa who believe that there is a hope for the future, that we can make a change, that we will eventually have justice in this country. And that's the one thing that I'm also saying about my job is like when I go there, it's weird because I'm a white guy working in a colored area, and a lot of people make a big story about it because when I go there, some people say, "What is a white guy doing in this area?" And sometimes when I drive, people stare at me, and I'm like, "What? Why are you staring? Like, I don't get it." Also, when I started working there, I noticed that people were wary. They were like very weary because I'm white. So it's like a reverse racism thing. But the good thing is now that I have been established in this community, there is no color anymore towards me. Do you know what
Or
I'm
towards
saying?
anyone, yeah. Because you treat everybody equally from your side as well.
Yeah, so it's not the white sir anymore.
Yeah, it's teacher.
Yeah, it was that in the beginning when I started working there. It was
Yeah.
the white sir. Sir. But it's a type of slang that we also talk here in the Cape. Afrikaans.
Mm.
En my Afrikaans is goed, ek sê.
Is dealing with, I mean, your the type of students. I mean, you mentioned drugs and gangs and pregnancy and all of these really big hardships in this environment. Is mental health something that that you talk about amongst your students? Is this something that you discuss with your students?
Yo, not really. There's not really time for it, man. Like I feel that I deal with my own mental health, and I haven't even answered your previous question when you asked how I deal with it. Can I answer that
Yeah,
question quickly?
yeah. Please,
You
please
asked.
go ahead.
Thanks, Carl. You asked how I deal with that. So, like I said, I live in a nice area, and I go to work, and it's not a very nice area. Um, the way I cope with it is I know I'm gonna go into a bad area now, so I listen to music in my car pretty loud, you know, and that pumps me up, or it gives me a perspective on how I'm going to treat this day in my head. or in my heart. Or if I have a bad day, I just leave and I listen to some Slipknot and then I feel better,
You know,
you know?
music in your car is the best therapy in the world. I always,
Like,
before, the first thing I need to do before I drive is do a vibe check, because I'm in a certain mood and I know exactly what that mood needs, and I know the type. I'm like a sucker when it comes to playlists. I've got a playlist for everything,
yeah,
and
dude, you have to listen to my play.
I firmly believe that a vibe check is needed when you're in the car, just to set the mood and to set the theme of the day.
Yeah, I do agree. And I skip a lot, dude. I'm skippy in the car sometimes.
No. DJ Skippy.
You get skippy.
I hate people who skip. I'm one of those people. That's why I make playlists, because if I'm in a certain mood, I don't want something to pop through that I'm not in the mood for, so I don't have to skip. So I can just put it on and I can leave it. So that is
No,
why
but
playlists are
I have
important
three
to me.
playlists, dude. Four playlists on
Four.
Spotify now. Yeah, four.
I think I have 38 playlists.
Well, congratulations.
and,
No,
and I have to fine tune everything straight down the middle just to make sure, okay, I'm doing my vibe check.
then you got some OCD, brother.
I do. I'm not gonna lie, I do. That's one of my biggest vices.
My four playlists are pretty easy.
Okay,
So the first one is called Goeies.
I
It's
know
just
the
cool
Goeies
song.
playlist.
Yeah, it's 100 hours of music, of good music.
And then what's the other two? Other three?
Then I have Jesus, which is like Jesus bangers.
Jesus
So it's like
bangers.
Jesus bangers, dude. So
Okay,
it's like metal, rap, whatever country of Jesus music, right?
okay, okay,
And then I've got classical, which is just classical music. Obviously, it's like Beethoven and shit. And then
okay.
I've got melancholy.
Oh, for those emo days.
Yeah, so it's mostly that one is mostly Smashing Pumpkins
Okay, all right.
and
Got a little
some.
grungy. I've got. I feel like I feel that that playlist is needed on days like today, where it was just gloomy, gloomy days. And normally songs
No,
like that makes me happy. you know,
but that, yeah, it fixes you up, dude.
I've got a playlist where there's a ton of
But
super sad songs, and it's almost like they're ironically sad. They're just ridiculously sad, and they cheer me up, because I like to think that there was a whole entire band that got together, and all of them came together in a studio and said to each other, like, guys, we're gonna do sad songs today, and everybody
it's like
somehow
Radiohead.
agreed.
It's like Radiohead.
Yeah, everybody agreed, and for some reason those sad songs just makes me so ridiculously happy, and I don't know why.
I think it's because they give you a sense of belonging, like you know that other people also felt.
Yeah, or that there's no way that there is other people out there that is this sad, you know.
Yeah,
It's like, it makes my life look a lot better than what it is, you know.
yeah, I agree, man.
Do you um do you feel content with where you are in life, or do you think there are things you can improve on as a contributing member of society, or just in your own personal capacity?
I feel that I can always do more. I always want to do more. I am the type of person who is never satisfied. Being an artist, I'm never satisfied with what I'm doing. It's never enough. Um, if I write a song, for example, it's always not good enough in my own eyes. Um, and what I'm doing now, being a contributing member of society, you know, I thought being a teacher is not enough. I want to make a tangible difference. So, to make a tangible difference in our country, I need to be a policy maker, you know.
Mm.
So, I decided to do a master's degree in town and regional planning, which is a big thing in our country because that is how you make a change. Um, I don't like politics, but if you can't beat them, join them.
Yeah. That is. If you want to do something, do it yourself, basically.
Yeah, it's like that, man. Like, to make a tangible change in our country, you need to be able to change the policies. For example, I feel that it's very unfair to expect Xhosa people to have Afrikaans as, how can I say, as a core subject. To pass grade 12, they need to pass Afrikaans, but they can barely speak English. And all of the other subjects are in English, like geography and tourism, life science, whatever is in English, and they can barely speak English because English is their second
Second
language. But
language. And now they need to learn a third
Southers,
language in order to
they
pass
need to
their
learn the
school.
third language, and it's very difficult. It's not an easy language if you are not European. I mean, if we had to learn Xhosa or Zulu or Pedi, whatever, it wouldn't be as easy, you know.
And I feel like this language, and I do have to agree with you as someone who does have part Afrikaans heritage, this language doesn't get used anywhere else in the world except
Yeah,
for
but
South Africa.
it's a beautiful language. Um, I would say that it not just because it's my mother tongue, but it's a young language. It's the youngest language in the world. It's not even 100 years old officially. Um, in 1929 is when it became an official language. So we are in 2023 now. So it's 6 years shy of being a centenary language, 100 years old. So it's basically like Klinyong or something. People think it's a
Yeah.
made up language, you know.
Yeah. Or
But
it's
there's
just
some
like
beautiful poems in Afrikaans and beautiful songs, you know. But from the perspective of the general populace of South Africa, I think it's unfair to expect still after 30 years that people should have it as a language at school. That's just my opinion.
especially in a country where you have 11 official languages, you know?
And it's
That
12 now,
does.
man. Did you know that?
Oh, no, I didn't know that.
Last week it became 12, or 2 weeks ago.
Well, let's say, especially in a country where there's a plethora of official languages, it's hard to just like include one of them in order to expect that all of our rich cultures of this country need to be able to pass this young language in order to just get a proper education. And I do agree with you,
It's
that's not
crazy,
fair.
man. It's not fair.
You mentioned that you would like to make a change in the community. and I know you have done a lot of community work. I wanted to just get a little bit of understanding if you're still involved, and how do you get involved by making a change in your community as well, because not only you're a teacher and all of these other things, you're actively trying to engage with the community in order to make a difference. And I just wanted to inquire more about that.
Okay, so I decided to join a political party because I thought if you can beat them, join them. And then recently I discovered that this political party is just like every other political party, and I don't want any part of it if it's going to be the same thing. So I decided to focus more on how I can improve the community through the school. So
Okay.
let me give you an example.
Yeah,
Um,
please.
with this political party, we decided to build a soccer field
Okay.
thing. We were supposed to unveil it on Freedom Day, which is 24 April in South Africa. And on this day, it was raining. So a couple of days before, we saw, okay, it's going to rain, so we can't plant the poles for the soccer field. The cement is not going to set, blah, blah, blah. So they said, we're going to unveil it a week after. And it's a month later and nothing has happened since. So after 3 weeks, I decided, okay, 2 weeks actually, I decided I'm not going to waste my time over it. And I decided to pick up the rugby at the school. And rugby
Yeah.
is a very big sport, actually, here in the Cape. Um,
Well, in the whole country.
the whole country, but it's like a religion in Gauteng, where we are from, and here in the Cape, the religion.
Yeah.
And
It's the building blocks of our nation.
it is actually, it's 1995 Rugby World Cup, those things. Building blocks.
Exactly. Building
And
blocks. Foundation of South Africa. South Africa was built on rugby. People need to know this.
yeah, it is. It is. It is the truth. So what I did recently was I decided to pick up the rugby, and it's tough because there's no fiscal support, there's no financial support. And I got some balls from Pretoria, and we started practicing on the cement. And these kids are asking the whole time, yeah, sir, but what about the field? What about this? What about the jerseys? What about this? And I'm like, why are you stressing about it? Don't worry about that. Worry about getting match fit, you know, and
Yeah.
actually catching the
Same,
ball.
same music mentality. Don't worry about the instruments. Worry about getting gigs.
Yeah, you know. So somehow, I don't know how, resilience, whatever you might call it, I got us into a league, and I got the jerseys by going on to a TV show, winning some money, taking that money and using it to buy the jerseys for the team. And
No
now
way. What did you do on a TV show to
but
win money?
it's like a music show, like Noord for Noord.
Yeah. So you just straight up went onto a TV show to go win rugby jerseys for your school.
Well, technically, I won money, and it was me and two other teachers, and we used that money to buy the jerseys.
Wow. That's awesome.
And now those jerseys are in my bath. They're fucking dirty because last week was the first match. There's some blood and shit on the jerseys, and it's in my bath now.
But the school has got jerseys now due to
At
you
least,
just quickly using your general knowledge as a teacher on television.
yeah, man, it was pretty fun. You should watch it.
I don't watch TV though, but you can
Well, you
send me
can
a link
watch
and I'll
that.
definitely watch
Just
it.
know that thing, dude.
You know, I watch all of your episodes of things you're involved with on TV.
Well, the next one is 23 June, but you're gonna laugh
So
at that.
I normally one of my favorite things is to know if you're. That's probably like one of the few times I actually try and rush to a TV is when you go do something arbitrary on TV because I don't know how you do it, but you're always involved in some sort of game show or ridiculous thing on television, and I don't know how you do it, but you do it.
I don't know, dude. He just calls me.
It's like if I see you
Huh?
again, you're on some weird game show,
He
or you're
just
in the
calls me.
background explaining something.
It just calls me, dude.
It's yeah, it's probably one of my favorite things to do is like go see what bizarre activity Ivan is doing on TV at the moment.
Yeah, dude.
Um,
Like
I
the other
was
day, I think it was yesterday. I told my girlfriend. Oh no, it was this morning. I told her when I sang "Staying Alive" on TV. Did you watch that one?
so was this at the also one of those game shows where they ask you a bunch of general knowledge questions?
Yeah, yeah. It's general knowledge, but it's like a team. And we took three of the grade 12 learners actually,
Oh wow,
and I think they enjoyed it. Looks like they enjoyed it.
that is yeah, of course. I mean, you can put a kid on TV. Day is made.
Yeah, they asked the one kid, "What did you eat last night?" And he said, "Macaroni and cheese." And they said, "How do you make that?" And he said, "You take the macaroni and you take the cheese." And they said, "Oh, that's cool. What's the ingredients?" And he said, "Macaroni and cheese."
Like it's in the name, dude.
You will know me.
What you recently released your own EP or album, so to say.
Yeah,
And
man.
how do you feel about having a little bit of yourself out in the world for everyone to listen to?
Well, dude, that is, it's mostly for myself. I know a lot of people's not going to listen to it, so it's maybe 5 or 6 listeners a month. You know, there's someone in Dubai that's listening to it, and they're like, "Oh, I don't know what this guy is saying, but I like the music."
But someone in Dubai is vibing to it,
But someone is listening to that in a fucking Hummer there, dude,
blasting it, you know.
blasting that shit down the fucking desert, you know. So, but the EP is called "Hold Be Thou," which is where "hello" comes from.
like the term hello.
The word "hello" comes from "Hold Be Thou."
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah, so it used to be "Hello Be Thou," or "Hold Be Thou." Then it became "Hello." Then "Hello" became "Hey." Then "Hey"
And then
became
hey, big
"Yellow,"
hi.
and "Yellow" became "Yo." So
Yo.
you know,
I like. I like to listen to your album when I'm like in a very big avant-garde mood, because it borderlines outsider music and folk to me. It's got a very raw, feel to it. I mean, and like you say, it might not be everyone else's vibe, but I like the personal raw feel to your music. And I like to believe that that's the way you teach to your students too, raw, personal, and real.
Yeah, man. I like to ask a lot of questions. I ask them more questions than they ask me. You know,
Like what?
like, what do you think this means?
Yeah.
Why why do you think we are studying this? Why do you think it's important to know about rocks? And then I get great answers like, because you are a rock and roll star, sir.
Duh.
And I'm like, okay, that's not what I means, but thank you.
Okay.
You know?
Some of my best some of the best teachers I experienced in my world are people who question you to to entice thinking and higher thinking and further thinking. And I think the more questions are asked, the more people understand to think for
Yeah.
themselves.
Yeah, it's called critical thinking.
Do you constantly critical think in your own private capacity, or are you only using it as a teaching aid?
Well, that's a very great question. Um, I just want to get the charger here for this laptop. I I do tend to use critical thinking in my own life. Um, I feel that I need to analyze my own life and how I do things, um, how I think about things, how I perceive things, and how I react to situations. So, for example, I can't afford to be angry. That's not who I
You can't
am.
afford to be angry.
I can't afford to be angry. I have
Oh wow.
to I have to control my feelings. So going back to the stoicism thing, to the stoic thing, I can't afford to be angry, because if you are angry, you lose your mind. When you lose your mind, you lose your pose and your poise. You know what I mean? Am I talking shit
And
now?
you lose control of the situation you're in.
Yeah. So you have to keep your poise, not your pose.
That's what I thought about when we talked about ego death earlier.
Yeah.
I believe once you've identified, I believe everybody needs to suffer some sort of ego death, in the manner of there are certain, I wouldn't say characters, but there's certain elements to your personality which, if you're going to continue down that road, is just going to slowly but surely spiral into getting worse. And I feel there are certain elements to your personality you need to be able to identify. And once you've identified, you need to make a choice to either let go of it or acknowledge it. And that to
Yeah.
me is the ego death, because I think the reason a lot of people tend to escape their minds is because they have acknowledged, they know exactly what those things are, but they just want to avoid it. They don't want to deal with it or cut it off or acknowledge it. They just choose to avoid it. And I feel that's where a lot of addiction comes from, because the addictions in our lives are justified by our, you know, problems and our demons that we need to fight, and those little elements that either needs to die or be to, get acknowledged. And I feel the sooner we acknowledge those, the sooner we can either change or get rid of it. And that's why I feel every single person needs to suffer some sort of ego death. And I believe it's the worst thing you can come through, but it also provides the biggest salvation.
Yes, I agree, man. But where I disagree, or not disagree, but where I tend to argue with you is the fact that not everyone has an ego because they don't know that much about themselves. Like, if you know you are smart or if you know you are strong, then you will have an ego. So, I'm going to take a joke for example. I know we are not in grade 10 anymore, but these guys that gym a lot and stuff like that, they think they are strong, but they're not strong. Physically, yes. Mentally, no. I'm not the biggest guy, but if someone who is ripped as fuck is gonna come and push me, I'll fuck that guy up because mentally, you know what I mean, dude.
I know, but I think that's a perception of what ego is to every single person. That's why I said your addictions are justified by those demons of yours. I mean, ego can be translated into so many things, I feel. People who are compulsive liars, or people who avoid talking about, really, talking about themselves. Why do they avoid certain things, certain traumas that they want to avoid, and the walls that they've built around those traumas or experiences that they have are transformed into some sort of coping mechanism. And I feel a lot of those coping mechanisms can be translated into some sort of ego, which could either be acknowledged and it can be worked into a productive manner, or it can be eliminated because it serves no purpose, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense, dude. It makes sense, but
So it's not necessarily ego in a sense of I'm the tits. It's more in the sense of more a little bit more personal in this, a, a, a foundation built from trauma and the coping mechanism around it. I mean, we all have got some sort of addictions and coping mechanisms and reasons for that. And I think it's those reasons that we need to evaluate.
well, it's for every person to each his own.
Mm.
So everybody's got their shit to deal with, and how you perceive whatever you're dealing with is how you're going to react to the world, and how you will handle each and every situation that comes your way.
If you could change anything in your life right now, what would it be?
If I could change one thing about my life now, I would make myself more reading. How can I say this? I'm looking for the right word, man. Like, I would read more books because I'm reading one book now and it's taking me a long time. So I would make myself more reading, I don't know, books.
Why do you feel you don't read as often as you want to? Because this sounds like something you can change, which is within your realm. Um, is that
I'm just
time
very busy
or
now.
just, yeah, the management of time?
Yeah, like I'm reading a lot, but I'm not always reading what I want to read.
Yeah. I hate not
So
being able to read what I want to read.
if I if I
That's
if I can give you the short answer, I would, if I can change something about my life, or if there's one thing I can change about my life right now, it'll be to read what I want to read,
not what you have to read.
not what I have to read. Because now I'm reading a lot of stuff that I have to read. Do you understand what I mean?
Mm-hmm. No, I
You
got
catch my
you.
drift.
Yeah, I'm catching your flow,
You feel my flow,
Daddy-O.
bro. Because
No, I
I'm
got
reading a
you.
lot of legislation and very tight stuff, dude. Like
And this is for your studies.
this for my studies. So it's very tight, stiff
But
legislative.
you're still reading to better yourself, because you're reading because you want to study and you want to get educated, and you need to read these things in order to, get that papers in order to be a better version of yourself. So it needs to be done. The little anecdote: you need to crack a couple of eggs to make an omelet. So you're basically cracking some eggs so you can be a better omelet.
Yeah, I understand what you mean and I agree with you. But for example, let me say this. I'm gonna give you an anecdote. Okay. So I'm making an omelet now, right?
Okay.
But I don't like onions in my omelet. I like
Yes.
tomatoes and cheese in my omelet. But
Okay.
now someone who's made a fucking nice omelet is telling me, you know what, you need onions in your omelet.
But you don't like onions.
But I don't like onions in my omelet. But now I have to put some fucking onions in my omelet to make a nice omelet. Do you see what I mean?
But do you enjoy that omelet that you're eating right now with the onions? Is it changing your perspective on omelets?
Yes. For because now I'm like, maybe
Hmm.
the onion suits the omelet.
There are a lot of things in our lives where, as children, it brought like a little bit of trauma, and we eliminated those things out of our whole entire lives. And I recently found out there were certain things in my childhood which I didn't like, and for most of my adult life, I avoided it. And I never revisited it because I had one weird experience with it as a kid. But you only know so much as a kid. You remember you had a weird experience with it. And after experiencing it, the same thing, years later, you realize, why? Why didn't I like this in the first place?
Like
This is
Evos.
actually a well, Avos I've always liked. That's something that, ugh, I can't get enough of. But I avoided nuts for a very long time because I had one allergic reaction as a kid.
Dude, I hated Evos when I was a kid.
What?
I
I guess,
hated Evos.
are you a texture eater?
No, I love Evos now, but
But
I don't know,
do you
dude.
used to be a texture eater?
I don't know, maybe.
Because
I used to eat
I
sushi.
can't,
Now I love sushi.
I can't eat bananas. I can't take the smell of bananas. I refuse to have bananas. If something is banana flavored, I can't handle it. All
Okay,
because
I'll
of one
remember your
traumatic
birthday.
experience.
I'll buy you
My birthday.
a banana. Yeah, I'll remember your birthday. Buy you a banana flavored chappy.
Well, you don't know when my birthday is.
I think I know.
You don't know.
You don't know when my birthday is.
Your birthday is in October, and I remember it is.
Okay?
I remember it's. Hold on.
Are you
If I
gonna
have to
Google
remember
it?
quick. No, I'm not gonna Google it. What is, dear Google? Do you know what Ivan Kruger's birthday is?
I'm gonna Google yours.
You're gonna Google my birthday.
It
No,
says
I
here
remember your.
your age range is between 30 and 70. Is that correct?
It is between 30 and 70. That is 100% correct.
Is your
You can't
middle name
deny that.
Garrett?
No, that guy, that guy is a pilot, and I, I've been living in that guy's shadow for a very long time online because I got some of his people asking about plane questions, and he's been getting podcast questions his whole life. It's crazy. But
Really?
anyway, no. I know your birthday is in October, and I think it's in the first week during the first week of October because I remember your birthday was during. I don't know how these things happen to you, but that one time Opikopi was
Shadow
moved. It was
Pickobi.
moved on your. Yeah, the mango picker.
Yeah,
Yeah, me,
there were anyone,
the
dude.
mango picker. Yeah, I remember that was your birthday weekend.
I
So
think your
that's how I
birthday
know
is
you.
in July, but I'm not sure.
Keep believing that.
Okay, so it's not July.
No, I'm not gonna tell you when my birthday is because you wanna sabotage me with
Is it
banana
today?
flavored chappies. Yeah, today is my birthday.
Happy birthday then, dude.
Thank you, thank you. I am now between 30 and 70 years old.
Just now.
Now, I just became between 30 and 70 years old.
Yeah, I'm also between 30 and 70 for the past 2 years.
That narrows it down. So, Ivan, if you could say absolutely anything to anyone in the world right now, give advice or just say something to the planet on this recording that for anyone to be able to listen to, what would you say?
Can I say it in Afrikaans, dude?
Yes, you can say it in any language you want.
Okay. No, I'm just joking.
That,
Okay, so here
okay,
is my advice.
okay.
Tyd bestaan nie. Tyd is relevant. Tyd is wat jy dink dit is. Die lewe is nie so moeilik nie. Moenie dit moeilik maak nie. Lekker tye.
Lekker tye. Ivan, okay, happiness at 2. Where did that come from anyway?
Dude, ek het okay, I'm gonna speak English again. So, dude, I was thinking, okay, I'm gonna have a very cool, very original, unique band name here for myself. So I thought everybody's looking for happiness. So when does happiness come? And I had some insomnia, and at 2 o'clock in the morning, I thought, well, I'm happy now, even though I can't sleep and life is shit back then. And it was 2 o'clock in the morning, and I said, oh, I'm happy now, even though life is going shit. So I'm happiness at 2.
I've always imagined that too to be like a afternoon to, it's like
Now it was a
it's
morning
not
too.
as hot. I've when every single time when I have read it, I always saw it as an afternoon to, it's not as hot as 12 o'clock, and it's not the end of the day. It's I thought that 2 o'clock happiness for me. That's how I translated it for myself.
Well, dude, it's
2 o'clock.
perspective. So
Yeah, that's how I always. But always saw it as a afternoon too, and I thought, wow, that is a good time of the day. 2 o'clock. That's always been my favorite. Between 2 and 3 o'clock's always been my favorite time in the afternoon. So that's how I resonated with that name.
yeah, well, dude, to each his own.
Whoa, whoa,
Well, What's so
but
so?
but Ivan, I would like to thank you for coming onto my podcast. It's been a
Well,
pleasure to
thanks
have you.
for inviting me there.
And thank you for sharing your wisdom and your life with us. And I look forward to having you on the podcast again.
Okay, see you tomorrow.
Okay. See you tomorrow. And stay happy and stay inspired.